As another part of this series of going through older anime and manga, seeing if it's still good in 2024, I found one on my bookshelf that I kind of forgot about. Now, just going into preference there, Food Wars is one of those well-known manga and anime in the anime world. They've turned people upside down, have inspired people to cook and do all that. But it's 2024, is it still good? For those who are new into anime and manga, and for some reason you've been around the block and haven't read Food Wars, Schmmo Yukihiro's old man runs a small family restaurant in the less savory end of town. Aiming to one day surpass his father's culinary prowess, Schmmo hones his skills day in and day out until one day, out of the blue, his father decides to enroll Soma into a classy culinary school. Can Soma cut it in a school that prides itself on a 10% graduation rate? And can he convince the beautiful, demurring heirs of the school that he belongs there at all? So the story starts off with our boy Yukihiro in the back behind his family restaurant cooking this weird concoction with squid and peanut butter on a grill. It's really weird. But from there, you go in and you see the regulars cheering on because Yukihiro is going to fight his father in another culinary battle, to which he loses. And it's like a record of like 55-0 this year so far, something like outrageous and outlandish like that. But you see this restaurant has a bunch of going and happy patrons that him and his father are made happy and they love their cooking. Well, as they started wrapping up for the day, this woman comes in and says she's part of the committee adjusting committee or something. Like, they're basically coming through to tear down this place and make newer upscale parts because they're located in an older part of town where there's an older shopping strip before the mall came in and stuff like that took people away. And of course Yukihiro and his father say, no thank you, we're good. And then Yukihiro comes out of nowhere and says, we will serve anyone at any time, any day, no matter what. We will never close our doors. So the evil committee chairwoman said, let me put that to the test. So when Yukihiro comes back the next day from doing his breakfast shopping to just, make him a breakfast and get some small stuff for their personal foods, he comes back to see a bunch of the food in the restaurant destroyed, thrown on the ground, all that stuff. And guess who shows up? The committee woman and her cronies, and go, oh, well, it looks like you've been through a lot. The nice graffitied front of the store looks way better than it did before. Anyway, I'm here for a meal. Oh, wait, you can't serve anything? Well, that's sad. He said, give me a second. To which he makes this meal that you can follow along and cook for yourself and make yourself. Plenty of YouTubers and all these other people have done that too. To which he made a meatless meatloaf, like breakfast thing, and it's amazing. It figuratively made her clothes come off, and she couldn't take it, like stay away from it. And she wanted more, but he said, nope, you got your one. That's it. I made you food. And he's convinced her to basically say, hey, I'll let you eat the rest of it, but never come back or threaten my family, never come back to this part of town. To which her and her cronies agreed, and they ate and they left and never came back. So, you fast forward a little bit, you see Soma outside cleaning up the store. His father comes back and he goes, yeah, I'm going to be leaving for a little while. To which it blew Soma's mind because his dad's like, yeah, I'm going to close the shop down for like 2 or 3 years. And you find out that his father goes overseas because his friend needs a hand with his cooking like shop and tries to just go and basically improves his cooking. But from there, Yukihiro has to figure out what he can do. He's like, I don't want to close this shop. I'll just drop out of school and do it. And his father's like, no. I'm going to enroll you into this culinary school. That way you can prove and get better and finally beat me, because that's what you really want, right? So if you can make it through this school, that means you have a chance of finally beating me. So you can hear us like, this is just some random culinary school, ain't nothing about it. To which he shows up and it's a megaplex. Like, there's buildings upon this giant hill, castles everywhere. He is distraught and doesn't know what to do because he is very out of place. Yukihiro ends up meeting this guy on his bench and he sits down and starts talking. To which Yukihiro brings up he's from a small family culinary, like, inn kind of like bar kind of place. To which this guy he met looks down on him and calls him trash and says you'll never amount to anything because you're not rich and you're not from an esteemed line of people. Well, fast forward a little bit into where they basically take the entry exam. Out comes this woman, Nakari, which basically she is known as the god tongue in the culinary world. If you get disavowed and said your food's trash, you are, by her, your career's done. Like, that's it for you and your family lineage, and it's done and over with. So that scares 99% of the entry people. Meanwhile, Yukihiro doesn't know who she is. And as she starts walking away saying, well, there's no entry people, he's like, you mean I can't enter? To which she's surprised that anyone stayed. And she said, well, yeah, make whatever. It has to involve eggs. So Yukihiro does that. and he makes a dish that is so incredible. She's never had that before and was so surprised because it looked like a plain dish, but he added a little something extra. It's from the Yukihira secret menu, and it blew her away, but she couldn't believe it, so she rejected him and failed him, even though he like passed. He beyond passed. So how does he get into the school? Because there's 35 volumes. Well, her grandfather actually comes across the dish and is flabbergasted that this person failed, so he passed him immediately. And to which that makes Yukihira the only transfer student going into the new year of this culinary school. So you start off with Yukihira making his big statement after this big grandiose figure known as her Nakari's grandfather, who runs the school, and he goes, yeah, I'm just here to beat all y'all. You can try to keep up with me, but I'm here to be #1, so nice to meet you. Oh, and have a good eat. To which I pissed off all the people who have been there from like middle school up, and who put a target on his back. So we end up with Yukihira in a French culinary class, and they said this is one of the hardest teachers, who doesn't like to work with people, who doesn't like to establish bonds, who doesn't like to do anything, and is super hard on his students. Well, after Soma gets teamed up with Megami, who is a nice, kind, gentle soul, who somehow got a tuition and got a scholarship into the school, but is sadly last and doesn't have self-confidence. She's really lacking in it. She ends up teaming with the troubled child, Yukihira. So after going through these woes, Yukihira's like, come on, Megami, this is gonna be easy. Let me show you I can make this man smile. To which the guy hasn't smiled in like 10 years or something, they say. But Yukihira makes such a good dish using honey and these other ingredients that are very commonplace that makes this French teacher smile and then be happy and be joyous. He's never experienced that before from the students cooking, to which everyone's like blown and like doesn't know how to handle it. But Yukihira was able to do it. So the news travels about Yukihira and gets to Nakari, which her minions and her little peons who are trying to get advantage are like, I'll put him in his place. So there's a tradition that is on this campus where students can fight each other in these food wars, essentially. Shokugekis is what they call them. To which they put high stuff, like stakes on the line. To which the stake was whoever lost this battle when Yukihira gets challenged gets, suspended. They get kicked out of the school. So after this nice, long, tedious battle where Yukihira comes in with these common ingredients, everyone's like, haha, making fun of him. He like swipes the field and kicks this crony off. And that's how it ends. Yukihira shows off his skills that's saying, I can cook whatever I want. You can't stop. This manga is an amazing manga, especially if you are getting to get into a new genre, which is like literally, this is all about food. Yes, this was in Shonen Jump. The action is the battles, the Shokugekis, where they're making food and fighting against each other with the food wars. Haha, the title. The other big thing that I really love about this is that they have the recipes. I stated it before, but they put recipes in the manga itself that you can recreate and make at home. They make it super easy for people to follow. And you can make these at home because the author got together with a culinary chef, someone who's world-renowned, and they made these recipes so people like you and me can make them that might not have that much culinary prowess, but we can improve our skills by following these recipes and improving our repertoire of dishes that we can make, and follow along and taste what these people taste in the manga, which is amazing. And I haven't seen anyone else do that. I've seen maybe one other one. I think it was Parfait Princess or something. It was like a really old shoujo beat one where it was all about baking. It wasn't about cooking, it was about baking. And I really love that about this manga, and that was one of the things that drew me in early on. I will say there is a disclaimer with this though. With people getting into it or wanting to try it, you have to be ready for a lot of fan service up front, because there's a lot of mental imagery that goes on when they taste this food, and clothes go flying off and all these weird tentacle things happen, or if there's bad food, they get bad weird things that happen to their bodies and stuff. It's just really up front in your face. But as the series goes on, it wanes down a little bit, and it's not like every other chapter. It's only at serious moments, and they make sure it has that kind of impact. Because as it goes on, it shows how skillful people are. Because it's showing that Yukihira's bar is starting to go from this to this, leveling out, and he has to learn how to improve. The story is very well written. It is so good, and one of those series that I picked up from the beginning, and I was there from volume 1. Now, would I recommend this in 2024? Yes, I would, with the caveat of you need to be ready for the fan service that comes with it. That way, if someone's not really into fan service, you give them a heads up, or you steer them away from this series. The downside is, if you want this physically, this is like a $500 series now, because it's out of print. You might be able to find the later volumes, but it's the early stuff. It's the early stuff that's going to be super hard to find. I mean, you can go onto the Shonen Jump manga app, and for like $2 a month, you can read all this. So like, if you're not into physical and you want to read on the app, go for it. $2 to $4, you could probably finish all of Food Wars. And I highly recommend. The anime's out. There's like 4 or 5 seasons of the anime. It's done. The series is done. It's all wrapped up. So you can get a full, complete picture of this. This series has inspired people that I know personally and others across the internet to get into cooking, to improve their skill. This was a very inspirational series, and I highly recommend if you want a very good read for 35, 36 volumes, and you want something that will be everlasting and impacting on the anime community in your collection or in your repertoire that you have watched, I 100% recommend Food Wars in 2024. So let me know what you guys think. Drop stuff down below, what you guys want to see in, before the end of the year, or I'll do start, 2025 stuff. But let me know what you all think. Love you all. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you all with the next one. Bye-bye.